Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board today. Thanks for watching YouTube TV, listening Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. To start this hour, we head out to the Progressive Guest Line, as we do every Wednesday at this time, with the great Sal Paolantonio from ESPN. Sal, Pal, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing great now that I'm on Follow the Money on Wednesday afternoons. Love it. Thank you guys for having me on the show. What a wide open NFL it is. Unbelievable. Here we got 4 games left, and there's not a single team that has clinched a playoff berth. I've never seen anything like this, so wide open. Never seen it.
It's absolutely crazy. It really is. So you came on last week, and I think we replayed your piece on what you said about the biggest issue here with Philadelphia being the quarterback, like 3 or 4 times leading into the game on Monday night. And then he proceeds to have the worst game of his career. But as bad as he was, they have other issues. The receivers were not great. And what have you found when you look at this offensive line this year for Philadelphia?
Well, the offensive line, obviously, the number one thing is no Lane Johnson. When the team does not have Lane Johnson in the starting lineup, their winning percentage is 38%. When they have Lane Johnson in the starting lineup, it's over 70%. So the loss of Lane Johnson is huge. And their pass block win rate was 6th best in the National Football League last year. 6th best. This year, it's 20th. It's in the bottom half of the league. They are not protecting Jalen Hurts. And they're not protecting him on the tackles. That's the biggest issue. I know Jordan Mailata had one of his worst games in his career. He was just a turnstile, and then he couldn't hold up, so he was holding. He had one bad holding call in the red zone, but he had 2 that weren't called and could have been called very easily. And Fred Johnson is just not Lane Johnson. I mean, Fred Johnson's a good swing tackle in the National Football League, somewhat capable. But Lane Johnson's going to Canton. He's going to the Hall of Fame, and they miss him. And here's my big problem with what the Eagles coaching staff didn't do last week. They didn't do what the Buffalo Bills did when they went into Acrisure Stadium 2 weeks ago. The Bills were without their 2 starting offensive tackles for the first time in Sean McDermott's career. So they put 2 tight ends on the field, and they went heavy. And they did traps, and they did counters, and they did quick pitches and reverses. They did all the stuff you need to do to get creative in the run game, and they ran for 246 yards against the Steelers in Pittsburgh, unheard of. So you can do things to help yourself when you don't have your starting right tackle. You need to go heavy and get creative, and the coaching staff did not do that.
And I have given up. I don't think they can fix this offense. It doesn't look remotely close to last year. The one bright spot was Barkley went off. Also, this has been said by many people, and you would know this. It's a hostile crowd. They're the defending champs. Fire Kevin Chance at the last game. Moving forward, I think it's going to be a home field disadvantage, especially if they come out slow in these games and even a playoff game.
They're tight at home. I agree with you. They're tight at home. And it's tough to circle the wagons when this crowd is not behind you. I will agree. It is definitely, they're in defensive mode posture when they're home. And I thought last week that they would break out. They play in LA really well over the years. It'd be nice. It's always good when you can get the fellas on a road trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're feeling like, okay, we're on a road trip. It's us against the world. And then and it comes back down to the quarterback. And it comes back down to the quarterback, even when they're doing well offensively. And the last drive, gentlemen, in that game on Monday Night Football is indicative of what they can do and what they can't do. So they're driving down the field under duress, hostile environment, in overtime. And they're driving down the field. And the quarterback looks good. And then on a 1st and 10 play, guys, that was not 3rd and 10. That was not 3rd and 14. That was 1st and 10. He's flushed out of the pocket to his right, which is his good side. Dallas Goedert is staring him in the face wide open. No one's within 10 yards of their star tight end, Dallas Goedert. He decides to throw it deep down the sideline and try to thread the needle between two D-backs. The ball is tipped and intercepted. And all he had to do was dump it off to Goedert. I've seen Goedert turn his head like that, go up the sideline, get 15 to 16 yards. What a bad decision, indicative of the good, the bad, and the ugly of this offense and this quarterback.
Yep, well said. No, I want to say that they're going to absolutely smash the Raiders this weekend, but I can't really do that with confidence. What do you make of this matchup now?
Well, the Eagles are 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games as double-digit favorites.
Oh. There you go.
Yeah, oh.
That's great. And it's Kenny Pickett now, too.
4 straight Eagles games have gone under the total. 4 straight. And, I sent you guys in the producing booth there a number that's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So in the last 5 weeks, the Raiders have scored 7 touchdowns. The Eagles have scored 8. The Raiders are last in the league. The Eagles are second to last in the league in touchdowns scored. The Raiders are 2-11 with Geno Smith. The Eagles have the Super Bowl MVP quarterback with the most expensive offense in the NFL. They've scored 1 more touchdown than the Raiders in the last 5 weeks.
Incredible. Great numbers, and that tells you how bad it is. Sal Pal, our guest, the Hall of Famer on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the money. Pauly and Mitch, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. What do you make of the Rivers story? He's your age, 44 years old, coming out of retirement.
Hey, don't knock grandfathers. We're nothing better than being a grandpa. But I'll tell you this, here's the thing. They're out there and they want to decapitate you, man. They want to take you out. And, I have all the love in the world for Phillip Rivers. I've known him his entire career. I love the way he approaches his life. He is a true family man. He is grounded in faith. He loves the game of football. He's a great teammate. He's all of that. But you haven't played NFL football in 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just don't know how he's going to do it. So I'm not covering the Eagles game this week. I'm getting shipped out of town. I'm going to Buffalo at New England, the game of the week.
It is.
It is the game of the week in Foxborough. I haven't been in Foxborough since Tom Brady was there in 2019. It's been a long time, and I'm back. I covered all 10 of his Super Bowls, and I'll tell you, this game is so important. This is an important landmark game, I think, in NFL football. Because if you're the Buffalo Bills, just think about it. For all those years, you were looking up at the Patriots with Tom Brady. And now you're looking up at the Patriots with Drake May. Mm-hmm. You already lost to them at home. There's no way in the world you want to get swept by Drake May if you're Josh Allen. If you're Josh Allen, you do not want to wake up Monday morning in Buffalo being swept by Drake May. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Matt, you're spot on.
No, you're right.
By the way, what'd you make of the movement? The look-ahead number had New England as a small favorite, call it like 1.5. And then when it reopened,
the Bills are now 1.5, right? The Bills are 1.5?
Yeah, and here at Circa, it's a pick'em, but other books have it Buffalo minus 1.5.
Yeah, and the over/under I see is 50.5. So people expect points to be scored in this game, but here's the thing: the Bills are 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 division games. They have not performed well within their division, and I don't know. I've always seen Sean McDermott and Josh Allen play small in big games, mm-hmm. or do things that in big games, like against Kansas City, where the win was on their racket, so to speak, and they had a lot of unforced errors. So in this game, I think it's going to come down to unforced errors. Now, James Cook leads the AFC with 10 100-yard games from scrimmage. But, and there's always a but, He also leads the NFL in 6 lost fumbles, twice as many as the second guy on the list. So if James Cook does not fumble the ball, if he protects the football, he can control this football game, I believe. I believe he can control this football game if he does not fumble the ball.
Okay.
But the Patriots will be going after the ball. I like the Bills a little bit in this game. I do. Only because I don't think that Josh Allen wants to be swept by Drake May.
Rams 6 against the Lions. Quickly.
I like the Rams.
Okay.
I do. The Rams. They're at home. They play well at home. I like the Rams quite a bit. And I like the Ravens at the Bengals.
Okay.
I like the Ravens at the Bengals. It's Ravens minus 2.5 from the last time I saw. But here's the thing. Pittsburgh was so lucky on Sunday. Two red zone possessions. One overturned touchdown, which was clearly a touchdown.
I agree.
And 100%. And then the second one where the ball is tipped and DeAndre Hopkins could have made an easy catch in the end zone for the winning touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson was absolutely despondent in that game. Afterwards, I was in the locker room. John Harbaugh put his arm around him, talked to him, and said, "We got 4 games left. We will bounce back." I think the Ravens bounce back in this game.
Very good. Sal Pal, you're the best. Thanks for the time as always. Have a great game then on Sunday between those two teams.
Thanks for having me on the show, gentlemen.
Yep. Up
You're the
next,
best
and worst teams in the NFL, NBA against the spread. The best team to the over is in action tonight.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We like to do this every single week as a heads up for those of you who may not have access to check out all the numbers. This can be a big tool to use for your handicapping throughout the entire week. But I will tell you again that you can find all these numbers at the website, vsin.com. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Go to vsin.com/subscribe to check it out. Here you go, your best and worst teams in the NFL. That's where we are going to begin, ATS and with totals. Seattle is number 1. They're 10-3, and they're covering on average by 8.8 points per game. I have them in pocket minus 3.5 this weekend against the Colts in the look-ahead number. They're laying 14 now. I also have them plus 1.5 next week, Thursday night, against the Rams. I need them to improve to 12-3 ATS. Second best, 2 teams are tied. One, the Patriots, 9-4. The other one, the team that Seattle gets next week. The Rams are 9-4 against the spread, and they are covering on average by almost 6 points per game. Jacksonville, Carolina, and the 49ers are all 8-5. Chicago is either 8-5 or 7-5-1, and the Cowboys are also 7-6. The worst teams in the NFL ATS. Baltimore's 4-9, and they are missing the cover on average by 5.3 points per game. Washington, right there with them.
Yep. How about this? No surprise it's Mariota Sunday, but Daniels could come back against the Eagles. What are they doing?
It's silly talk, man.
Come on, guys.
You can't be serious with that.
Yeah.
If I'm a Commanders fan, I mean, think about how awful you were for, I don't know, a generation. You finally got it right with your franchise quarterback, and now you're going to come bring him back after injury, not once but twice in the same regular season. It's idiotic. Other teams on the list here, all these teams are 5-8. The Browns, Raiders, Broncos, Vikings, Saints, and the Chiefs. The best teams in the NFL to the over. Dallas is 9-4. What do you have, Cowboys first half?
Dallas is 12-1 to the over in the first half, and they're 11-2 over team total.
Holy smokes.
How about those numbers on the Cowboys?
Very good. A bunch of other teams are 8-5. Tennessee, Seattle, Detroit, Cincinnati, the Jets, the Giants, and the Ravens. The best teams to the under. If I could give most people one guess, I think they would get it. It's Houston. They are 10-3 to the under on the year. And they are staying under by almost 4 points per game. The Chiefs are 9-4 to the under, staying under by 4 points per game. The Saints are also 9-4 to the under. Denver's 8-5. Philly is 8-5. And then Atlanta, Buffalo, and the Chargers are 7-6 to the under. I got NBA teams here as well. The best team in the league is in action tonight. It's the Phoenix Suns. They're 16-8, and they're covering by 5.3 points per game. The Rockets, I got it 14-7. Percentage, they're exactly the same as Phoenix and also the Knicks after last night, 16-8. The Lakers are 15-8. Boston's 14-10. And Pauly, there's no way you would get this one.
No, never.
The Pelicans are 14-10-1 against the spread.
I know, worst team in the league. I'm stunned by that.
That's amazing.
It is.
The worst teams in the NBA ATS, Washington 6-16. And they're missing on average by 5.9 points per game. The Clippers are 7-17. Cavs, 8-17. Sacktown, Minnesota, 8-16. Toronto, 10-16 against the spread.
Our good friend Tony Rizzo on the show tomorrow, ESPN Cleveland. The other night, they booed him off the home floor. They lost to a Golden State team that sat everybody at home.
Yep.
And they got blasted. And with Pat Spencer doing damage, I think a second-year player who's 29 years old, was a lacrosse guy. Wild story with that guy, and Kerr loves him.
Good old Pat Spencer. The best team to the over this year in the NBA, also in action tonight. It's the Lakers. They're 16-7. Denver is 15-8 over. Washington 14-8. Portland 15-9. Utah 14-9. The Pelicans 15-10. And the Houston Rockets are 12-8-1 to the over. The best NBA teams under, Memphis and Charlotte are each 16-8 to the under. Indy is 15-9. The Nets are 14-9. The Mavericks are 15-10. The Kings are 14-10, and the Raptors are 15-11. And I got a couple of notes here on college basketball as well. Best team in the entire country, ATS, Sam Houston, 7-0. And they're covering on average by 8.7 points per game. Bill and Mary, 8-1. Hofstra, 8-1.
Yeah.
Iowa State, 7-1-1. Idaho State, Stony Brook, and Memphis are all 7-1. The worst teams in college basketball, ATS. Oregon is 0-9.
No way.
How do you like those apples?
Come on.
Wow. Yeah. 0-9 against the spread, and they're missing on average by 7.2 points per game.
Oh.
Fairleigh Dickinson's 0-7. Jacksonville State's 0-5. Loyola of Chicago, 1-9. Miss State, 1-8. East Carolina, 1-7. And I will give you this. Duke is the best team to the under in the entire country. They are 9-1 under so far this year.
That's great.
There you go.
Yep. To expand on the NFL, Pittsburgh is 7-0 at home in the first half, ATS, thanks to Joe Osborne for that number. Kansas City and Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's way under the radar.
It is, and it comes into play Monday night. Kansas City and Minnesota, 10-3 to the under, first half. Green Bay, all 7 home games have gone under in the first half. Saints, 2-11 ATS in the first quarter. They haven't had the lead at the end of the first quarter in any game. They got the tie last week against Tampa. Pittsburgh is 11-2 to the over in the fourth quarter as well. Hockey, goal in the first 10 at home. Colorado, 10-0. 10-0 run. Washington, 11 of 12. San Jose, 6 of 7. Pittsburgh, 10 of 12. On the road, Washington, 9-1 run. Philadelphia, 8 of 9. Overall, Washington, 17 of 19. Goal in the first 10. Flyers, 13 of 15. ROI, Boston, number 1. You're up over 10 units on the Bruins. Anaheim, 10-15. Islanders, 7-23. San Jose, 7-20. Dallas, 6-59. Worst teams ROI, the Blues are down 8 units and change. Edmonton down 790. Vancouver, 620. Vegas, 587. Utah, 550 for your hockey.
Okay. We will get hockey thoughts from Mike Palm coming up when he joins the program in about 8 minutes.
Jonathan Davis is on the over tonight in the Ranger Blackhawks game. He has an interesting tidbit that the last 9 games on TNT have gone over, and the total is 5.5, and the Blackhawks are on a 6-1 over run for the game. So, sounds good to me. Good job, JD. I'll take it. That's one he likes tonight on a short card in hockey.
All right, very good. All right, let me give you an email here that we got from Brendan in Maryland. ftm@vsin.com. First of all, he's very complimentary. So thank you, Brendan, for the kind words. He was bummed when we moved from mornings so he could wake up and have it on as the morning got going. Now he says awesome to have it on at night when he gets home. His 2 boys love it as well. That's great, Brendan. Thank you so much. And he also says, it's genuinely the first show I can remember since Mike and the Mad Dog, who I grew up listening to, where you can tell you're actually watching all the games. Anyway, his betting story is this. Listening to you guys, you had a golf guy on talking about the British Open. He loves betting golf. Who doesn't? Maybe my favorite sport to bet. Thinks it might have been Jeff Seeley. Anyway, Ricky Fowler came up, and his odds, he was kicking around and brought up DK on his phone. There was a weekend promotion. Anybody live betting someone to win enters you into a pool of money won by the most birdies on the weekend. He barely makes the cut. So he's like 80-1. I gave it a rip. Here's where it becomes a story. I open up DK well after it ended, and there are 8 $250 free bets that I can't figure out where they came from. Forgot the promotion. I had Hyman Rothed it. Went to sleep, and the money was on the table when I came out. Ricky had 13 birdies that weekend, completely out of it. He birdied 16, 17, 18, no par fives to get there. Anyway, then he went 4-4 with the free bets. And he's like, thanks to you guys for putting me on that and other bets that came in. Brendan in Maryland, emailing the show, ftm@vsin.com. That is, I've only had it happen a couple of times where I've made a bet before I go to bed and I stop watching the game. And then I completely forget about it. And I wake up. Usually it's a loser, but a couple of times I'm like, why do I have that much more money in my account today? I'm like, hey, dummy, you bet that college football game at 10 o'clock last night. That's why.
Or it's a meat man special. Something early soccer at 6 in the morning.
When he gives out Kazakhstan.
That's right.
Minus 3.5 goals, and they light up the other team 6-0 or whatever it is.
Yeah, very good. How about this? How about a couple next Michigan coach, Jed Fish, John Gruden? They're up against it here with the timing.
Yeah.
Signing day gone. All these other guys have made up their mind. I don't know what they're going to do. Gruden is 62.
God, is he that old already?
Yeah.
Well, Fish is going to be on the move, I think, because he's been rumored for like several other jobs already.
Yeah.
What do you think about Lincoln Riley?
Oh, I don't think so.
All the steam's gone there from him?
Well, I don't think that's a good fit either.
Well, it might not be.
Also with his style. But
does he stay at USC for as long as he can?
He does. That's what he says. He says this is where he's meant to be, he said. All right, I believe him. Official horse racing partner of VSiN, First Bet, built for bettors who demand more. Helping bettors of all levels with handicapping tools that provide data-driven insights to make smarter bets, win, play, show probabilities. Take advantage of the limited time $250 sign-up offer. Promo code VSiN250. Claim your bonus. Code VSiN250. FirstBet.com.
Mike Palm on the program next. We'll get some of his most memorable betting moments of the 2025 calendar year.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Time now for Mike Palm's weekly appearance. Wednesdays with the Maestro, VP of Circa Las Vegas, the Golden Gate, and the D. Mike, good to see you as always. How are you today?
Hello, Mitch. How are you? Great to be here.
Not too bad. What'd you make of this news with Michigan firing their head coach today?
I was just reading it on my phone as I was walking from the D down here for this. So don't know much of the details yet. Said staff member, but we had our favorite Biff Poggio coach him in the bowl game.
Yeah. Okay. So we're trying to come up with who Michigan should go after now that he is out, because they are. What would you put? Fill in the blank with Michigan as a top what program in the country?
20.
Yeah. Pauly and I said about 8 to 10.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe that's a little aggressive, but they should be with their funds. They're playing Underwood, paying him $12 million here to play.
They're a basketball school, though.
Well, evidently
that
they are
team's
now.
pretty darn good.
Oh, they're amazing. But they should, in theory, be able to get like any guy that they would want for this job. Would you not agree with that?
As long as they're going to pay.
Right, and yeah.
But it's the same. It's the same problem as Penn State. Although going into Penn State for Matt Campbell's behind the 8 ball with the transfer portal already.
Right.
People leaving out because of the way they handled the whole thing. It's the same thing, though. I guess it's in your DNA that you're going to beat Ohio State, but you're going to have to beat Ohio State, and maybe now you're going to have to beat Indiana.
True.
I know it's not Big Ten East or West or Legends or Leaders anymore, but that's your neighbor, and you play them every year because that's one of your special games that you always have. So at some point, you're going to have to be able to, knock your head against Ryan Day for a while until you can be able to beat him.
We're getting a bunch of thoughts from viewers, listeners on X right now, at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard. Somebody brought up DeBoer, and they said, doesn't it feel like Michigan's a much better fit for him than Alabama?
He got his team to the playoffs. So, I always say that coaches that come from outside of the South struggle in the SEC. And DeBoer's a Northwest guy, right? And I think people take them at a distance, the fan bases, because they're not from the South. And you could say, well, he's from West Virginia, but that's about as much South as you can get for that, where that is in the country geographically. So I didn't even think of that. I'm trying to figure out who the staffer is. That's what I took out of the story.
Yeah.
How about, I throw this out there, and I know it was a failed experiment here with geriatric Pete Carroll, but how about Chip Kelly? Is Chip Kelly totally damaged goods now?
I don't think he can coach it anymore.
No? You think he himself is a bad play caller now? He's
screwing up the play calls with the Raiders. That report came out. I don't know.
You had good stuff on that.
Yeah, I think I would. I don't think I'd hire Chip Kelly for any job anymore.
Okay.
Not even an offensive coordinator.
Really?
I would not. I'm like, great ride, buddy. I loved him at Oregon. Yeah. He never should have left Oregon, but I think the ship has sailed on that.
He was calling plays that they didn't practice.
Yeah, he was mixing them up.
Yeah. I hope they don't do that to Phillip Rivers this week.
Well, evidently, right? He ran the same play clock coaching his kids' high school team. How about Chris Peterson on X? What kind of accent would Brian Kelly bring up to the Michigan football press conference?
How about Chris Peterson?
Oh,
he just doesn't want to do it anymore,
he just said, no, that's it for me.
He could probably had many of these jobs along the way.
Oh, he could have. That guy would have been.
I think he's a pretty attractive resume.
Yeah, not bad.
Huh?
I think that he was the best coach in the country. Right there with Saban when he was at Boise State and Washington. Peterson was incredible.
USC went Sark over Peterson. Bad move.
Yeah, I would say so.
Will Michigan have to get a name? Will they have to get a name coach?
That's a good question. Because
they're up against it with the timing.
Yeah.
I think the guy at Arizona is pretty good. And I'm not talking about Fish that went to Washington. I'm talking about the guy at San Jose that went to Arizona. I was impressed with the job he did this year.
They wanted him fired last year.
Yeah.
Private Plane Wayne wants Fish. He already chimed in.
Yep.
Did he?
He did? Did he say Fish?
He did.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know, because who would be like the next Kurt Signetti? That's what these programs are going to look for. Or that is going to be
coming from a group of five?
Yeah. A proven winner, no matter where he was at. We need that guy to turn us around, turn us into Indiana. Good luck with that. So the bowl game against Texas is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, now they can back out. We don't have our.
Do you?
The bowls are done now.
They have to be, right?
It's over. No, but these schools don't care. They don't have a coach. They don't like it. They don't. I was listening to Amal's buddy Rick Neuheisel, who said within 3 years we'll have a 24-team playoff and no bowl games. That'll be it. Yeah. And I tend to think he may be right.
He also brought up that they keep the bowl games. It's going to be to start the season.
Yeah, the first week of the year.
First week of the year.
Which you used to go and do and play it. They play a game in New Jersey. They still play a game in Atlanta always, right? In Dallas and this and that. Maybe that's it. Maybe you have your big intersectional games the first week and you bring all your fans to them.
Sure, right. Because they're traveling now more and more to these neutral site games anyway to begin the year. And so that'd be a way to, I guess, keep them. We've been talking about this throughout the show, most memorable betting moments of the year. We've had a lot of examples. Yeah. We brought up some. The audience obviously chiming in. What stood out to you?
I think the predominant story is a theme, and so it's several moments, but it's the cheating. To me, is the most memorable thing. It's the Indians pitchers, it's the NBA guys, it's these college first halves. I think that's the overriding story, and you can piece them together as different moments, right? But it first comes out as Luis Ortiz with the Indians, and then it's Clase, and then it's all this stuff. Did you know the NBA is putting restrictions on bets?
I did.
Oh, you did? Yeah. I just found out today because we got an email about it. I didn't know.
I think that it was Purdom or somebody who had that story that they were going to limit. Well, it was baseball for sure was going to be limiting bets.
Yeah, baseball's doing it with the pitches.
Right.
Individual pitch results, you can't bet more than 200. But now the NBA has come out. And we're not an official provider of the NBA, but Sports Radar is, and we use their data. So Sports Radar got that and sent to us. You cannot offer bets on turnovers, on fouls, committing fouls, or on missing free throws. The NBA is not allowing that amongst their partner providers. So
did they
that's
ever,
the next step.
Okay, did they ever bring up, like, limiting where like it doesn't matter who it is, nobody can get more than like 500 or 1,000 on a prop.
I thought the next thing to come would be about how much minutes a guy played. And you can't offer props on guys that average less than 10 minutes a game or something. That'd be the way I attack it. But I get these things. These things are very easy to throw. Committing a turnover, committing a foul, and missing a free throw. They're very manipulable, right?
Yeah. No, it's right. I mean, because Porter never would have been on the board.
No.
Under that scenario. Guys who can't get 10 minutes of action, you're not going to put these fringe guys on the board for anything.
I think the Thanksgiving Day Massacre has to be one. I know it's fresh in our minds, but
It qualifies.
All 4 games, the dog wins, and of course what it did to our contest. I think Dave Ross's, of course, I'm partial to our invitationals, and you guys have known. You guys have made runs. You guys have won money on that. Dave's run with Toronto.
Has to be up there.
Right? That's a great story of the year.
It's over.
Yeah,
it's
it's a great
4-2 in
story
the
of the-
8th, 4-3 in the 9th, one out, nobody on.
Great
the
painful
Pages
story.
catch,
The Pages catch, I mean,
where'd he come from?
I didn't even see him coming.
Yep.
All I knew was Kiki was not getting that ball.
No,
you
he
could
was
see
not.
from the first shot to the outfield, when you pan to the hit, there's no shot Kiki's catching.
World
It's
Series is over.
It's over, right?
yeah. How about Hoffman giving up the game tying home run?
What? Just
Absolute gut punch.
slider after slider after slider after slider. Throw the guy a fastball. He hasn't had a hit in a month.
What was Big Earn? 300-1 MVP?
Yeah.
Once we went later in the series?
Yeah, he was going to win the MVP.
That was the
him.
walk-off hit.
Oh, that's true.
We had that.
Yeah.
There's another
Meanwhile,
one.
Chris Bennett cashed a nice ticket at the Westgate on Yamamoto, 40-1 from before the series
Oh,
started.
for the MVP.
They were 40-1 on Yamamoto. We were 10-1.
You were 10. You were 10. They opened
Because
40.
Chris makes the odds.
Yeah.
And he said the people don't think a pitcher can win. A pitcher can win.
Yeah. I brought up the French Open final, Sinner and Alcaraz. That's triple championship point, and Sinner was minus 50,000 in play at DraftKings.
That's a great call. How about how badly the market had Notre Dame Miami to the playoff?
It has to be on the
Minus
list.
3,000, minus 1,800, minus 1,400. I was looking at everything that night. Some smart people triple pop, quadruple pop Miami all along.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. Usually the betting market gets ahead of the stuff.
Yeah.
They were never ahead of it on Notre Dame. Nothing leaked out.
No, nothing leaked out.
If it did, that number was going to go from 10 or 11 to 1 to miss to it was going to drop big time. You know that.
Sure.
We're down to 10. No chop this week. Are you surprised?
I think there's a couple, like there were in Grandissimo, that want to play this down further. You're at one. You're at almost 1.9 now.
Yeah.
Right. That's some nice money.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And you got. But you got pieces of teams, right, Paul? You understand it. You got 4 guys on a team. 3 of them want to chop, but 1 doesn't, and then it gets a little sticky.
How about this? There is one entry that won last year, still alive at least one that I know of. He came on the show.
Wow.
He's a young kid from New York, I believe. And he was on the show last year after he was one of the Circa Survivor winners, and now he is one of the 10 entries left. He and his partners. Can you believe that?
Unbelievable. That's awesome.
That's
Good find, too.
Yeah.
VSiN Pro subscribers, exclusive access to all new AI player prop projections powered by OptAI, the trusted data source behind elite soccer analytics in the UK, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and the exclusive NBA player props as well. Compared directly to DraftKings lines to help you find value. Access it all with the VSiN Pro subscription. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Can't wait to hear what Mike has in store for the college football committee. As You Cannot Be Serious is coming up next on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
He was the real leader.
Welcome back. Wednesdays with the Maestro continues. Mike Palm, VP, Circa Las Vegas. Time now for You Cannot Be Serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
All right, let's start out here with the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. And by that, I mean Trinity Rodman. I don't know if you guys are following this story. Dennis Rodman's daughter, who was former NWSL Rookie of the Year. She's played in 2 consecutive championship games. Well, she's a member of the Washington Spirit. Her contract expired. She played through her 4-year contract that was worth $1.1 million in total. So her agent talked about, if they can't come to terms, perhaps she goes to Europe. If Europe's going to offer her more money. So what did the Spirit do? They come back to her with a new 4-year deal worth $1 million a year. 4 years, $4 million. Everyone in D.C.'s happy, everybody. Except what happens? The NWSL commissioner, Jessica Berman, vetoes the contract, rejects it, will not allow it to be. She says that it's because of salary cap issues and also violates the spirit of competition. Well, number one, the salary cap in the National Women's Soccer League is $3.5 million per team. How does that violate it? They still have another $2.4 for the rest of the team. And there's no max salary under the collective bargaining agreement. What does this mean, spirit of competition? It's not right to pay a good player money? The Players Association has already challenging this in court. But this Jessica Berman move, I mean, she's making Kathy Engelhart look like Pete Rozelle. I can't believe that you would do this. This is another league like the WNBA that loses money every year, and it's trying to get more rights in a TV deal and trying to bring up women's athletics, and then you have bonehead moves because the people at the top of the league have no idea what they're doing. Jessica Berman?
You cannot be serious!
By the way, were you not killing that league betting it before?
That's the one that Nick said, yeah. 19 in a row unders. It's when they came back from pandemic.
Yeah.
They came back, they played an abbreviated season. Every game was 0-0 or 1-0. And then they had the 8 teams all made the playoffs because it was pandemic. So they all came to playoffs. All 4 quarterfinals. 3 were 0-0, 1 was 1-0. The first semifinal was 1-0, and then I blow. The second semifinal was 2-1. The totals were 3.5 when they came back. They were 3.5 till they got to the playoffs.
Nick was with William Hill. Unsolicited, he brought it up. I got to tell you, I've never seen anything like this.
19 in a row unders.
He's killing these soccer unders.
I just didn't understand 3.5. Every game was 0-0.
Yeah.
Then they came down to 2.5, and it wasn't like till the second round of the playoffs that there was juice on the under. All right. Our little Putin back again here, Gary Bettman. He's so focused on Italy. They can't control what the players do in going to the Olympics, but they're dead set on trying to say the NHL players aren't going to participate because of the ice. Well, here's something that happened in your own league, Bettman, last night. Anybody happen to catch the Avs and Predators last night? By the way, 8:52 local puck drop in Nashville on a school night on a Tuesday, the second end of the TNT doubleheader. It reminds me of Pat Foley's rant when the Blues Blackhawks series in the first round had 5 games out of the 7 that started at 8:48 or later on school nights. Anyhow, the game goes to shootout. All right, the second shooter for Nashville is Philip Forsberg, and on his shootout attempt, he crashed into Scott Wedgwood. Right away, Forsberg went like this to call out the medical personnel for the Avalanche to come look at Wedgwood. And he had played with Wedgwood before, obviously. And so slowly Wedgwood gets up, they come out, they look at him. Now we go down, Colorado takes their second penalty shot. By the way, Nashville's up 1-0. Okay? No big deal. Here comes Stamkos to take the third penalty shot for the Predators. He misses. It's still 1-0. Now the game is stopped. After Wedgwood has faced another shot, they decide he's in concussion protocol, has to come off the ice. But they let him take another shot. It's absolutely ridiculous. They came out and they looked at him. 2 shots later, they said, no, can't play. They pulled him out. However, they didn't have to substitute because Colorado doesn't tie it, and Nashville wins the game in the shootout. But Gary Bettman and your NHL concussion protocols.
You cannot be serious!
All right. Now, a few words for our college football committee. I just want to go back and look at these rankings. So from November 4th, the 11th, the 18th, the 25th, December 2nd, you had 5 sets of rankings out, right? In these rankings, Alabama was 4th, 10th, 9th, and then 9th. Notre Dame was 10th in the first rankings. 9th, 10th, and then 10th fallback. Miami, 18th, 15th, 13th, 12th, 12th, 11th, and then they go ahead in Notre Dame. And BYU, 7th, 12th, 11, then 12th. Notre Dame was 10th on November 4th. They were 6-2 at the time and had played Miami and lost the opener. Miami was 18th. They were 6-2 and had beaten Notre Dame in the opener. After that point, both teams went 4-0. Margin of victories are within 1 point of each other. Who did they beat? Miami beat Syracuse. Notre Dame beat Syracuse. Miami beat Pitt at Pitt. Notre Dame beat Pitt at Pitt. Miami beat 3-8 Virginia Tech. Notre Dame beat 4-8 Stanford. And Miami beat 7-5 NC State. Notre Dame beat 9-2 Navy. So how does one go up 9 spots and one fall down 1 spot? The purpose of these rankings is completely ridiculous if they're not going to be consistent. They were both 6-2. They both did the same thing the last 4 games. Miami should have been ranked ahead of Notre Dame in the initial poll. That's the only explanation for this. And then you treat one team, BYU. They made their conference championship game. They lost to Texas Tech the same way they lost to them before. What did we learn about BYU? They're the same team they were going into that game. Alabama plays in a conference championship game, and the team they beat drills them by 21 points. Don't you have to lower them? How can they say on one hand, we can't punish Alabama for losing in a conference championship, but we have to drop BYU because they lost again to Texas Tech? They just talk out of both sides of their mouth. JVT said it best on Monday. If we didn't have these 5 shows from November 4th on, and all we got was a playoff bracket, most people would be happy. Most people say, yeah, they did a pretty good job. Miami had to get in over Notre Dame, right? Alabama, they were in the SEC. No one would be complaining. But the fraud that is this whole ranking system every week, it means nothing. Remember what they did to TCU years ago? Took them from 4th to 6th and did nothing. Didn't even play in the final thing. College Football Playoff Committee and your nonsense TV shows.
You cannot be serious.
I told Pauly earlier this week, if they have the show again next year, we have to have a promise and a guarantee that we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah. Yep. You can't.
What's the point?
Yep. Matt Campbell didn't make the list? How about that news? Your buddy. Not good. Penn State goes Matt Campbell.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, the next option, if he said no, was work release for Sandusky. I think that was going to be their next step.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I don't know. Matt Campbell, 9-32 in games where they were a 4-point favorite to a 4-point dog. We've lived through this.
Yeah.
In games where the teams are on equal footing, he's not good. That's against the spread record, by the way.
I will ask this, though. If they didn't get Matt Campbell at this stage, who were they going to get?
I don't know.
I think they failed.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, big time.
Consider when they fired Franklin.
Yeah.
Well, if Michigan gets a big name, you're going to say that. That's who they could have got.
Yeah.
Whoever Michigan hires, you're going to say Penn State, and the person might have turned down Penn State because of the situation at the time.
This is up your alley.
Oh.
Powers says they're going to be Nebraska now after they got rid of Solich. You think that happens?
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Nobody's why is it in the no offense here to the people who are fans of the program? Who says Penn State has to be in the mix every single year? Why do they that's not going to happen. They can easily go the Nebraska route, and I expect that to happen.
That's a far fall.
Yeah.
That's a really far fall. You go from winning 3 national titles in 4 years, and then Solich takes you to 3 top 10 finishes to the bottom of the Big Ten West.
Yeah.
The very bottom of the Big Ten West. They did it to themselves. They didn't want Solich. And what did Solich do? Goes and wins 180 games at Ohio. That team wins 8 games every year. Turn on the MAC, Ohio's there every year.
Right.
They're winning every year.
I think Penn State will be a fringe top 25 team almost every single year. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll eat it.
Think Franklin will do anything at Virginia Tech?
Sure.
Sure. He'll get them to 3rd in the conference. They won't be able to beat. They won't be able to beat Miami or Notre Dame if they join the ACC.
Yeah.
By the way, the Big Ten doesn't want Notre Dame, so their time to get to the Big Ten was years ago. They don't need them anymore. The ACC would take them, I believe.
Yeah. You like anything in hockey tonight? Very small schedule here.
I played small Utah, small dog at home, and Purdue in college hoops. That's about it.
Purdue bounce back angle after they got
bounce back. Biggest loss ever by a number 1 at home?
Yes.
I'd like to see Michigan play Iowa State on a neutral right now.
That sounds like a good matchup.
That's good.
Make it happen, Mitch. Make it happen.
Yeah, throw me a little UConn in there, like UConn, Michigan. What would that look like? UConn's winning these games, but they're not blowing everybody out like Michigan.
Yeah, but they're tough.
It's Hurley.
I think Arizona could have a high ceiling, too. They have a little grittiness to them they haven't had in years.
I just can't get over this run by the Wolverines.
Everybody. They're destroying everybody. I don't know if they've played a really good defensive team yet. A really team that really locks down in the half court. But they look like they're, but it's December. So
how many teams would play Gonzaga and the game is over with in the first 10 minutes of the game?
Not too many, because that's a team that's played together.
All right, Maestro. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Up next, friend of the show, sports bettor Mike Montessato on the program. Strong on a team to win the national title, and he loves another in the NFL.